Me to describe what a meat golem is, this phrase I use constantly called a meat golem. Well, it's not an unusual idea. You have these ideas that in the world that a lot of the people that are on this planet are just making up the numbers, and they're actually just basically flesh automatons. Now, I'm not trying to dehumanize these people. I'm not saying they should be sacrificed or they should be thrown away or their civil rights denied or anything like that. I don't think we're any better than them. We're just different. But in one of the common things that truthers mistake they make is that they confuse Goyim with Gentile. Now, Gentile is a person who's not Jewish. A Goyim is basically a human that has no soul, and they could be anything. A goyim is a beast without a soul. So it's a human in form, and this idea is not restricted to Judaism. Gurdjieff had the idea that there were just holes in space and time filled with flesh and neurology and biology and neurochemistry and biochemistry, and they make up a large section of the population. Now, again, I'm not trying to put across a kind of a chauvinistic or an elitist idea, but you just look at what's going on at the moment in America with the Confederate statues. You have meat golems on both sides. You have meat golems who are holding torches and they don't really know why they're there, and you have meat golems who are on the other side calling everyone a Nazi. This is a corrupted meat golem. They've been both sides. They're both corrupted. But Bolshevism and communism and socialism, especially like a kind of like a progressive socialism, is a system completely dependent on meat golems because they need maggots in order to bring it to fruition. It's always been that way from Pol Pot. They raised. It's the same with the witch hunts and everything. You get a meat golem, and you put a thing in their head that all the problems in society are caused by this, that, and the other, and the meat golem is programmed like a robot and sent out. Now, the term meat golem, well, it's self-explanatory. They're just meat for the most part. These humans. In the past they were called scapegoats. This is what a scapegoat was. If a group was being chased by a predator, they would tie a criminal or someone they didn't like to a tree, so the predator would eat them, and they'll give the rest of the party a time to escape. So the meat golem is, well, we know about Rabbi Lodz in Prague, and he made the golem of Prague, Yosef, and he brought him to life, and he was just a lug, and that's what it means. It's just a lug. That's what the term basically means. They just do things. They just exist to make the numbers up. Again, we shouldn't do it. We shouldn't look down on them because we're all fucked up in our own way as well. The ones that we don't, maybe we're the fucking meat golems. It's the same reason I think artistic people are sometimes like way ahead of us, and that we're the fucked up ones. In fact, I think there's a lot of truth to that. But the meat golem is extremely dangerous. This is the problem. The meat golem is not dangerous because he's a meat or she is a meat golem. The meat golem is dangerous because they're very easily corrupted. The operating software inside them, the biological, biochemical, bioneurological operating software is very easily corrupted. You can see a good example of corrupted meat golems would be the flat earthers. When a meat golem starts to believe it's intellectual, that's when you can really identify them. That they actually think they're smarter than everyone else for thinking the most fucked up things, whether it's Bolshevism or whether it's the earth is flat. Both come from the same type of world view, both appeal to the same thing. The meat golem it becomes very arrogant, not narcissistic. It's almost like it's not narcissistic because it's almost like a sense of like, if there's enough of us meat golems, the world will change. They'll come round to our thinking, but it never does, of course. It never happens because it's madness. So the idea of like, when you walk down through society, when you hear people say like, "Oh, we are all one," well, you're not all one. There's lots of them out there that they're just meat golems. They're nothing, plebs, whatever. They just don't exist. and they just exist. They don't live. Put it that way. And you know, again, we should be kind to them. We shouldn't look down on them. It's just that that's what they are. They're not. This is why when people say we got to wake everyone up, you're not going to wake them up. And you can corrupt them by making them crazy for farce. You know, like all the Trump haters. Nearly all of them are meat golems. I'm not talking about the average person who hates Trump. I'm talking about the ones who every day they mean the second they hit social media, from the moment they wake up to the moment they sleep, they're posting anti-Trump posts. They're like, that's a classic corrupted meat golem. You get a lot of them in the free man of the land thing as well. That was the original one. The free man of the land thing, I first heard about it, I thought it was an interesting idea, and I actually said, you know, I actually thought that people should maybe go for it. But then I saw what was actually fucking, well, not go for it, but let's see where this could be taken. This is before I even like properly looked into it, but it was just the idea of anything that could actually unhinge the system was probably a good, until I looked at the fact that two, it doesn't work, and secondly, the only ones doing it are fucking maniacs. They're fucking stupid. A lot of them are like intellectually, like the flat earthers, their brains just not working. They're just not working. And so the meat golem is now that's not to say there's people who are flat earthers who are all meat golems. There would be people who would be flat earthers that would probably be okay people. I think that they've just been, I don't know, maybe from marijuana overuse or something, or veganism or Christianity. Again, Christianity is the ultimate meat golem religion. That you know, you'd have to be a meat golem to believe in Christianity, a religion that has murdered and killed and is utterly intolerant and slaughtered its way around the world, and then tells you, we are the religion of love. We are here to spread the love of Christ. And then their other history is just slaughter and intolerance. So you'd have to be a meat golem to actually tolerate Christianity. You'd have to be a meat golem to believe that Islam is the religion of peace. You see, this is with all these ones who are terrorists, the ones, the jihadists, they're all meat golems. See, this is why they're so fucking dangerous. A meat golem is like you can easily program them, wind them up, and send them out to do the most appalling things. So, Bear, that's what meat golem is. It's basically humans who are just basically there to make up the numbers. And why does it exist? I'll tell you why. Because if you look at the quantum physics model, or the quantum mechanical model, you have entanglement with like-minded individuals, right? And when you develop entanglement with, say, someone on a kind of an intellectual level, you have to remember that there's other scenarios thrown into it. And those other scenarios would be like the characters in a role-playing game. You know, that's what they would be like. So, you have this to regenerate them in order to make this engagement with reality, which is the ultimate role-playing game, more interesting. And that's why they are the way they are. They'll never fucking change. You'll never, you know, there's the ones who like you end up blocking them on Facebook after a while because they just can't stop. They can't switch off what they're into, because the meat golem has been programmed until the next program comes in. So there you go, meat golems. Don't put too much worry into them. Don't try to convert them. Don't try to change them. Just ignore the fuckers. And it's just how life is. They're flotsam in the bioelectrical mechanical thing. You're not better than them. They're not less than you. It's just, they're just there. They're just there. You know, just look on it that way. They're just there, and you have to deal with them. Meat golems.